Hey everybody, thank you for joining us on Taurus Tech Talk. Today we have another special episode of Getting to Know Taurus. And joining us today is Mr. Bryan Raney. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Are you glad to be here?
Brian,
I could not be happier.
Before we get started, he's like, this is about sports talk, right? We're talking about sports, right?
I'm sure sports will come up.
We can do a pre-NFL playoff edition if you'd like.
I like that.
I know almost nothing about sports, so let's do it.
I heard on the radio on the way over here that there's going to be a football game that is, there's probably many this week that are absolutely meaningless, but there's one, I think, with the Jags and the Colts, and it's the most meaningless. And they were talking about how on social media everyone's taking the storm to saying kneel the entire game.
0-0 tie.
Yeah.
Pretty
I
sure
think it's like Joe Buck broadcast, too. So it's the big guys.
That's fun.
Pretty sure my team's definitely going to win the Sportsing Bowl. For sure.
Probably.
My team.
That's what we should do next time is just do a sports trivia, and we'll see how good Corey does.
Oh, no.
All right. So
I know that Antonio Brown's looking for employment. I do know that.
That's true.
That's impressive coming from Mr. Church.
Hold on to the plane.
So, Brian, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your role here at Taurus?
My name is Bryan Raney. I'm 53.
Woo.
I've been with Taurus. February will be 16 years.
Congratulations.
It's awesome.
And when you say what you do, you really got to stop and go, there's a whole lot of things.
What hat are you wearing? What hat are you wearing today?
So I would say mostly I manage the technicians, the programmers, the project managers. Corey and I both do. We co-manage the technical side of the house. I'm responsible for scheduling them, juggling the schedule.
I think juggling is the appropriate term in today's climate.
Plate
So
spinning.
pretty much the most important thing of the entire company. That's what I had to say.
Just about.
No, all 7 spokes are very, very, very important. So
7 spokes. I think we're going to have to unpack that in a little bit.
Yeah. We'll come back to that.
Okay. Every day's something. I manage personalities pretty much.
You don't really manage people.
No.
Once your group gets as large as Brian's, you really are just managing personalities.
Right.
I like that.
Who's got their peanut butter and jelly sandwich in a smash today?
Right. You have to manage people differently. What you can say to some, you can't say to others. So you have to learn that. You learn with what degree you can discipline, build up, get into people. So that's the managing the personalities Corey is referring to. Very
cool. So tell us a story about your time here in the family that maybe Corey and I know, but maybe the listeners or viewers don't know.
How did you get here? You're not employee number 1. You're like employee number 2, right?
No.
Like full time.
I think that would be Aaron and Kevin.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm talking about beyond ownership.
Yeah.
After Aaron and Kevin, Robert's 3rd and I'm 4th, but not in that order. There were some other guys that worked here prior to us that aren't here anymore.
Okay.
But as far as people here now, we're 3rd and 4th in the history. Started as a technician. Is it you want that story or?
Yeah, give us that story.
Well, I actually, how did you even get the job with Taurus? Because I'm pretty sure you were like mailing papers at the valet stand or something before that.
Mailing papers.
I can't remember.
How I got in the industry is the year was 2001. So 20.
The year of our
the
Lord.
year of our Lord.
The year of our Lord. I was working.
That's when Dr. Dre's best album ever dropped. By the way, just to be clear.
Well, that's ironic.
It's important.
I was working at a valet parking company, managing a valet parking company, and Frank Rosso, who used to work for us, and I go back with Aaron and Kevin and Frank years before Taurus even came about. So we all played basketball together, and Aaron and Kevin had went to work for a video conferencing company several years before. And one day we're at the gym playing, and Frank says, hey, man, why don't you come to work at New Vision Technologies? And I said, I didn't even know what it was. And he said, man, we travel, we install, video conferencing equipment, just trumped it up, and no pun intended. And I said, well, let me think about it. And of course, what does it pay?
Yeah.
And because when you're at the time.
You mean you weren't hooked on the fact that we travel and we install video conferencing?
That was an allure, but, at the time I'm 33. I have 2 young children.
Yep.
And so he tells me how much it pays. And I said, man, I make decent money now. That's a pretty steep pay cut. So I'm going to have to pass. Not long after that, some things went down where I was working at the time. And at the time in the early 2000s, the term IT was becoming a well-known term, information technology. And so I thought, well, IT would be something to get into, because if you've ever valet parked, those guys stand outside. They work in the heat and the snow and the rain and the cold. And if they're not there valet parking, they don't get any money. So I said, I really need to make a career change.
But I know every time I valet park, at least when I'm getting the car, they're running.
Right. It's a lot of running.
It's a jog.
Yes.
I've always admired the amount of steps they get in. For sure.
Anytime they run too, not to say this is a barometer of how well you should tip a valet parker.
Oh, it's going up.
But if they grab my ticket and look and grab the keys and sprint, the tip goes up.
Right.
Yeah, if I see a guy get a 4.840, I mean, it's doubling easy.
Easy. Sorry.
And Robert could probably remember a story at the Anatole. We were attending an event, and the valet company was the one I worked for, and I knew the guy, so I tipped him going in. And when we're all leaving, and there's, 500 people out there waiting.
Yeah, I was about to say, I hope he doesn't undersell this.
Mr. Raney got his vehicle and was gone quickly. Was back to the office, I think, before you got your vehicle.
Yeah, dude. There was debutantes there, millionaires, and Bryan just walks out, and everyone looked at him. They pulled around his Ford truck, and they're like, well, who's that guy?
Yep.
Don't worry about it. I know people in the biz.
Words of wisdom: tip going in, tip well, and you will be taken care of.
So that's probably a big nugget for everybody right now.
What's a good tip going in? You've told me that before, but I don't think we've ever talked dollar. Are we talking
if you're at a
Bob's,
$10,
$20?
Got to count inflation.
If you're at a nice restaurant, tip them 10 going in and 10 going out.
Okay.
And they'll take care of you.
So
if you're going to Bob's, you're going to spend some money.
You and I talked about this, not to get too far off track here because we are, but I asked him about it because we were going to go someplace and we were going to be in a hurry on the way out, but I wanted to valet because I knew the parking lot would be ridiculous.
Calls never stop.
And so he says, tip going in and ask them if they can keep it close. There's a bit tip big going in.
Yeah.
So I hand the guy $20 and I say, hey, we're going to be coming right back out as quickly as we can.
You got a Taurus Tech Talk to get back to.
And we've got to get on the road. And he was like, yeah, just wave me down on your way out and I'll have it like that. And it was right outside the door. Right there with the Lamborghini and the Ferrari and the Bentley. And I was like,
there's your Ford truck.
My gray, dirty Ford truck parked right there.
There's
and the
8 times the
And the guy was like, the keys are in it. You're ready to go. I was like, oh.
Nice.
It's funny.
Right. Did you tip him again? Or did he take that as the pre-tip as my payment?
I didn't tip him again because
he told you verbally, from a distance, go ahead and get it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
Well, I mean,
I'm gonna start doing that, Bryan.
It would have been 5 steps. I could have tipped him again. I just didn't.
I think we got a big anniversary dinner coming up for one of our coworkers. So
oh yeah,
I'm gonna test it.
15 year.
Test it on that theory.
It's funny. Most people see the
and you want a valet there.
Oh yeah.
They see the Ferraris and the Lamborghinis and all that. It's about the money, and those guys usually tip well because they've got money. But in your Ford truck, if you tip well going in, they'll take care of you.
I got some other questions about that industry.
Yeah, we
could talk about it. But I want you to finish your story about how. Okay. Things went down.
You didn't take the job with New Vision,
but things went down at
said valet company.
Yes, and then
so
you moved forward.
I called Frank. I said, "Hey man, about that job opportunity, is it still there?" he goes, yeah, come on in for an interview. So I went and interviewed with someone else. And first I talked to my wife. Another nugget of brilliance.
Life lessons
Yes.
by Bryan
Always
Raney.
talk to your wife on big decisions like job change, buying a house, buying a car. Always.
Teresa,
Always
he's not just
talk to your
saying
wife.
it because we know that you're going to watch it. It's that also he's been saying it since I've known him for 16 years.
Big life changes, discuss with your wife. So I talked to her, told her, it's going to be a pay cut, substantial. Of course, my wife's a school teacher with very solid income. I said, but I think we can handle it. I said, it's taking a step back to take steps forward.
Yeah.
It's to get off from working outside. It's to get into IT. It's to get into, a new career. And I said, I think it will pay off later. And she trusted me. Of course, we prayed about it. She trusted me. So I took the job September 4th of 2001, 1 week prior to September 11th.
I didn't realize our anniversaries were so close.
No, that was at New Vision.
Oh,
New Vision.
I'm moved forward.
You're hearing the tornado siren, which
Yeah,
is a
it's
little
throwing me off.
ominous.
So
You can't hear it here though.
I took the job at New Vision, worked there for a couple of years. They had layoffs. And in the meantime, Kevin and Aaron started Taurus in January of 2003.
Taurus, the flooring company.
Yeah, no. And they both told me, hey, we're starting our own business. You go to New Vision, get your chops, and then we want you to come work for us. I said, sounds great. So I worked there for a few years. They had a layoff. Taurus wasn't quite ready to hire me at the time, so I had to do some other work for a few years. And then February 1st of 2006 is when I started with Taurus with about 8 of us, I think.
Yeah.
You were
that's
you
right.
were
8 of us.
working on and off as a contractor for Taurus, right?
I
Like
did.
weekend work and
I did in 2005. Yeah, we got some stories for that too.
Were those the New Orleans jobs?
No, that was when I worked here.
Okay.
2005, we did work up in Oklahoma at schools and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And yeah, it was slim, but early days of Taurus.
And the rest they say is history,
The rest
right?
is history. So that's how I got my start in the industry. So a little over 20 years ago.
not
pretty awesome.
not to segue too much, but you guys may or may not remember a couple of the Oklahoma projects you did with the previous company that I worked for. I had to go behind and fix some of your work.
Would not surprise me one bit.
I mean, it surprises the heck out of me, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Brian, we call it
If you recall,
the rain
we had-
par team.
we had Aaron's brother working for us, Aaron Cooper's brother.
These aren't excuses
Yeah, okay.
as much as they are.
To be fair, I actually think it was Adcock's work.
Could have been.
Then I was probably a part of it too.
Anyway,
Like, I'm sorry, okay?
All right.
All right, so we're going to run through a couple of fun questions, but I do want to circle back because I'm very curious, and I'm sure other people are curious a little bit more about the valet.
All right.
So I want to know some things like, what's the coolest car? Anyways,
Okay.
all right, so we tried our best to give you limited preparation on these questions so we could get them more of an off-the-cuff style of answer.
Right.
What would your spirit animal be?
First of all, what is a spirit animal?
Okay, so I want to be clear. We watched a television show. I'm not going to name the television show, but apparently some people were offended by that. A spirit animal to me means that if you could classify yourself as an animal because of the traits of that animal, aggressive or...
are there any animals who are really good
caring.
at basketball?
yeah, mongooses.
That's good.
Incredible. So anyways, yes.
So-
it's some type of trait an animal has.
All right. I got it.
That you
fun.
find admiring or inspiring or downright kick butt?
As you know, and everyone probably knows, I'm not an animal person. Grew up with a dog my entire teenage life, but I am not an animal person. But if I had to choose a spirit animal, it would be a flying horse. How's that for one? That way you can
You want to...
ride the
Explain
horse
that.
and fly, or fly.
Well, you would be
That's
the
what I think.
animal. So
No, I want to be riding the horse. I'm not going to be the animal.
well,
So...
then you don't understand the spirit animal
That's
question.
fine.
There you go.
I think it's good.
There
I think
you
it's
go.
good. We didn't give them
There
parameters
you go.
to like
What are
say you got to. It's about a real animal.
What is the flying horse? There's
Pegasus?
Pegasus.
Yeah,
thank you.
that.
I was gonna say unicorn. I was like,
Ooh.
they don't have wings. They got a spike on their head.
I just feel like that
So-
your answer there is like a mixture of seeing Yellowstone, riding a horse, and then also like maybe watching the
Superman.
like one of the movie houses. I think it's like TriStar.
Oh, that's
it has
right.
the Pegasus running
Yep.
around. So,
So
anyways.
what would y'all's be? Let's reverse this.
No.
What's your- okay.
No, that's on a different segment.
That's not how it works.
All right.
If you weren't in this business, what would you be doing? And I think I know, but I want to hear.
Take a guess. All right. If I wasn't in the AV industry, as y'all know, I love sports. I've always said I would love to run my own gym, my own tournament facility basketball gym. You know?
That's cool.
I would love to do
I didn't
that.
know that.
Now, again, we're talking, I got plenty of money because they probably don't make any money. But that's what I would like to do if I was not. I love what we do. Don't misconstrue, but I'd probably want to run a basketball tournament facility. I would enjoy that.
That's cool.
So to expand on that, what are you going to do when you retire? When you're done working here,
As you all
whatever
know,
that means.
I referee now. I'm going to do that as long as I physically can.
I've heard you're a little unfair with the charge calls.
Oh, made some last night. Teed up a coach last night.
Nice.
Robert always asks me, don't be afraid to tee him up.
Don't be afraid, man. You got to set that tone.
Had to tee up a coach last night. He went a little out of bounds, but
What?
I watched a YouTube video. So this is where I get my sports from. So I love YouTube sports.
okay.
This guy, I think it had to have been maybe high school baseball.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, purposefully, the catcher decided to step out of the way directly following a pitch.
I've seen that.
So the guy's at bat, and the
Step
first.
out of the way.
So hang on.
Let the pitch hit the umpire.
The guy is at bat, throws a perfect strike. Catcher catches it. Batter gets back in the box, gets out of the box and swings his bat around and gets back in the box and shrugs his shoulders. Pitcher winds up. And about the time the pitcher lets go of the ball, the catcher just falls to his right knee.
And it nails the umpire.
And it nails the umpire like right in the gut.
Yeah, but
He's got the pad on. So the video shows the umpire kind of looking around, trying to figure out like
What happened?
was there a miscommunication? And so he speaks to both the pitcher and the catcher, and there was some sort of conspiracy there, and he called the whole game right then. He just kicked everybody off the field.
Wow, that's pretty interesting.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever. I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but I've never seen it before.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to hear the answer to this next question. What is your favorite movie line quote?
You can sub it for a TV show, since I know you're a giant
Boy, Seinfeld.
Seinfeld fan.
There's so many Seinfeld quotes, but I went with movies. There's a movie called Tropic Thunder.
It's going to be tough to be PC.
That's my favorite.
No,
I'm going to say it.
It's from a movie.
Never go full
We can bleep it out. If we have
I'm
to.
glad you didn't. I'm glad you didn't add the accent, the emphasis on it.
Yeah, don't do that.
Never go full My
My
wife would hate me saying that, but it is a movie quote, so it's okay, right? Like rap lyrics and all that stuff. So there we go.
I've actually got a sign in my garage that has that on it now. It's
Right.
pretty great with Robert Downey Jr.'s face.
It's funny.
Corey,
So this is either work related or non-work related. You can choose. What's the most annoying situation in everyday life?
Well, I kept it work related.
we talked about like the toilet paper rolling over the correct way, stuff like that.
There's so many.
They-
There are so many.
There are more than most with this guy.
Is just one?
So many.
Does it just have to be one?
Can I give you one
situation?
in each life category?
Sure.
Brian's like, I want ones that are from 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. and then 8 to 10.
Do I need to set a calendar up
No,
for you?
I kept it work related, and it's
when Robert Parsons emails me at 8 p.m. every night.
no, that's believe it or not, that's in there. Robert asked me not long ago about, I juggle the schedule every day. And you asked me how irritating and annoying it is. I said, it's really not anymore. I'm just used to it.
Yeah.
It's just a part of it.
Like brushing your teeth.
Right. It doesn't even raise my pulse when people say, hey, we need to move this out or move this up. It doesn't, because it's just part of it.
Imagine what's going to happen when the supply chain issues kind of stop and you just put things on the schedule.
And they stay?
And you're going to be like,
what do I do now?
What do I do with my hands?
Oh, what doesn't kill you.
I know
makes
that's
you
not what
stronger.
you probably were going to say, but
No. My most annoying is at 4:45, 5 o'clock when I'm gearing down to leave after I've been here for
he's at power
since
sleep.
6:30. Yeah, and I have literally put it to sleep, and I get a phone call or an email or a text or something, and I'm like literally standing up to leave, and I'm like, hang on a second, power back up. I've already told my wife I'm on my way home. Robert knows how that goes.
It's only a Wednesday, and I've already done that to him twice this week. Just because we haven't got to 4:45 yet today.
Right.
You're always giving me life lessons. I'm going to give you one. I never tell my wife I'm headed anywhere unless I'm actually in the car.
He's told me that same thing, too.
I'm just, because I used to be real guilty of that. I'd be sitting at my desk, like, I'm going to leave at 4. She'd ask me, I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. I'm damn well not on my way.
He's told me overestimate.
Yeah. And I've most of the time wait till I'm driving because she knows I'm driving and she knows I really am driving. But if I've told her I'm on my way and I'm shutting down now, and then 20 minutes later. But anyway, again, that happens. And also, I don't like people working at night. I know people. Some people
I
have
feel
to
like
work
both
at
of these are addressed to
night.
me.
No, it's not. It's
How did I come out?
I'm sending an all-employee email right after this. Do not include Bryan Raney.
No.
On any after 5 correspondence.
It's not about including. It's like, I want y'all to enjoy being at home with your family and not feel like you have to work. But I also know after you've been meeting with customers all day, that then you got to do the dashboard and the paperwork. I get it. I just would prefer that there was more hours in the daylight hours that you could get that
You
done.
seriously hurt my feelings. I thought for sure you were going to say, rinse out the sink with the toothpaste or, any number.
All right.
How about our sink?
Listen, give us a non-work related one. Since you have so many, we'll allow multiple answers for you.
Like home life, I'm not going to blame any of
We
us.
already have established Teresa's going to watch this.
So you're willing to throw your coworkers under the bus, but not your wife?
All day.
Got it.
All day.
That's fair.
At home, boy, there's so
Well, it doesn't have to be at home. What about when you're trying to back into a parking spot
driving.
and there?
I think I've heard one of yours recently about any type of liquids in the trash.
Oh, yeah, you know that one.
Oh.
I think everybody's aware of that one.
It was the joke at the Christmas party.
Well, let's move on to the next question.
All right, that's it. Liquid in the trash can.
Okay. I know this is a tough question. It was tough when we had one of our teammates, Tim, on there. Give us, hopefully, a non-political conspiracy theory.
I got it.
Okay, give it to us.
The flat earthers.
The flat earthers. Okay.
Never go full you flat earthers.
You can't say that.
I watched this special. I think it was like on Amazon or Hulu or one of those. But that's what it was about. It was about the contingency of people out there that believe that the world is flat. And some of they bring scientists in and they kind of go through the whole thing. It's like an hour long documentary.
Is it the one where they get to the end of the documentary and they basically prove themselves wrong?
Yeah, I think so.
And then it just ends?
I think so, yes.
So
that's funny.
It is funny.
It's a flat earth documentary, and they spend the whole documentary convincing you that the earth is flat. And they do this this test where you basically set on a post these sighted rings.
Yeah.
And then you look through the sighted rings.
Why are they disappearing?
And they set them all at the same height, and you should be able to see them all in a line. And what are they, a mile apart or 500 yards apart?
You know that anybody believes it that watches it doesn't really fully believe that it wasn't doctored.
But they're all doing this test at the end, and they've got all these rings set out, and they look through, and the camera looks through, and you can see each one drop with the curvature of the Earth,
Right.
and then they just roll credits. I'm like, wait,
Oh no.
was this a spam documentary? Like, was this a joke?
I've got a few that I've come up with since we've created this question.
Okay.
I can't wait. What we'll do is we'll have a different segment, and you'll ask me that question.
He did ask me when you and I were going to appear on our new segment. This segment.
Upcoming. We'll
When
schedule
you
it right after
do,
this.
I want to be one of the interviewers.
Okay. All right. Corey, you go ahead. Ask the next question.
If you could choose to visit one of the 7 wonders of the world, which one would it be? To be clear, that's your current list of...
Oh, yeah.
See it?
So apparently the internet has a lot of confusing...
Yeah, information on what are the 7.
Yeah.
The 7 great wonders of the world.
Yeah.
So there's 2 that jumped out at me. The Colosseum is pretty spectacular with the history, but the Great Wall of China is the one I would pick because you can see it from space.
But you
Yeah.
can't, and that's a myth.
Okay, well,
If it's
screw
cloudy.
What?
that.
If it's cloudy.
Gotcha.
No,
Okay,
never
but-
can
okay,
you...
Maybe
You know,
you can't.
that's a little
but-
bit objective because
It's
It
not.
depends on how-
It's not objective. If you're in space, even if you're in lower Earth orbit,
no way.
you can't see the Great Wall of China.
Okay, aside from
The
that,
Great Wall of China is
aside-
only like 30 feet wide.
Here's another
Can you see the
conspiracy
roof
theory.
of your
Some
house
people
from
think
space?
that we've never actually broken what's called the firmament around the Earth to actually be in space. So wrap your head around that.
So
right?
aside
have.
from that comment, it's still an engineering marvel. in my
Oh,
opinion.
agreed.
Yeah.
I would like to walk on it or around. Can't walk
that
around.
is pretty neat though
It's-
to think about. Like just so
enormous.
many years ago
Yeah.
that somebody was able to accomplish that with the pyramids and everything. And that's the reason it's in the 7 wonders of the world.
And I'm one of those geeks that watches, engineering marvels.
Yeah.
Things blow your mind. You're like, how on earth?
I've seen
How
the
on earth?
Colosseum in person, and it's impressive. And then if you watch any TV shows or movies that have the Colosseum kind of in modern day,
Yeah.
it's impressive. Like they used to flood it, and like I say, drive. Like have boats on it and have mock wars and fights with a flooded Colosseum. It's crazy.
I would like to, occasionally what we'll do here at the office on slow days, if we ever have them, is we'll have a putt-putt challenge. And sometimes that can go around the entirety of the building.
That's been a while.
I think it would be really cool to have a putt-putt challenge on the Great Wall.
Yes.
I mean,
That would be fun.
I'm sure it's like it's busted up and everything, but it's
It's the same course for everybody.
yeah.
I feel like it would hit like one stone and bounce off the wall. And you're like,
You'd have to bring
mulligan.
3 dozen balls.
That's
Okay.
If we ever go, we're going to do it.
This is
Great Wall of China.
I don't think this is really a fair question because a man in his position has probably bought, I would say, thousands. How many COVID masks have you purchased
For
since
Taurus?
the beginning of the
Well,
pandemic?
just you at all.
I took that as personally, I've purchased 0.
That was Tim's answer last time too. Was it
Because-
just like given or whatever.
I've not purchased a single mask. Taurus gave us all masks with our name on them, remember?
Yes.
Like early on in the pandemic when masks
It's
were
like
so
April.
scarce. They ordered
April of 20.
It's like wearing a name badge. I can't
they
do that.
ordered
I
us
really
a
liked
mask, black ones with our
Yeah.
name. It's still in my truck, but I've ordered thousands for the technicians, and I've got a few of those black throwaway ones in my truck. But of all the people, I bet you I've wore a mask less than anybody the entire time.
Yeah, I mean your job primarily is
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I
don't have to go meet with customers, and I'm still very respectful if I go somewhere and they, prefer me to. It doesn't bother me one bit. But many thousands for here, and none for personal.
I would say since about April, May-ish of 20, I've had a pretty consistent box
in your truck.
in my vehicle to take from. So
I grabbed about 10 or 12 from our stash here and threw them in my truck. I'm still working off those.
Yeah.
all right, so we got a little bit more time, Brian. I'm curious. We'll ask him more questions about your life before Taurus, specifically
Riveting.
around the valet parking. I was about to say parallel parking.
I can do that.
Yeah.
I can do that.
I wonder why they still teach that, because most of the cars are eventually just going to have a button for it.
Yeah. If you drive on Grapevine Main Street, you need
true.
a parallel park.
That's true. So what's the coolest car that you ever valeted?
So you remember, I've been out of it for 20 years, but back in the day,
They still had cool cars.
oh yeah, everybody wanted the exotic sports cars. And it's funny, the very first time you jump into an exotic sports car and there's hundreds of people around, you can embarrass yourself. First time I jumped in a Ferrari, because I wanted the red Ferrari.
Yeah.
And you jump in there and you're like, oh crap. So is
it like a mixture of just not understanding the gears?
Yeah.
Okay.
How the clutch works.
Yeah.
It's everything, because they're not.
People are looking at you
they're
inevitably.
all-
Well, and it's the pressure.
Right. You jump in there, you need to go, and you. So it got to where, again, at first every valet wants to drive the exotics, and then it gets to where you don't care.
Yeah.
I'd rather get in a Ford truck.
Yeah.
And me being tall,
What you know.
every car I had to get into.
Yeah,
I
you're
had
not
to move the
fitting in
seat
like
back.
an 80s Ferrari.
No.
It's just not, not comfortably.
Every car I'd have to move the seat. So when I saw a big vehicle with tall person get out, I wanted that one, so I could just jump in and drive it.
Well, yeah, you knew if
Did you ever take the time to, when you pulled it back around,
No.
to, right? I mean, because they're paying you before they sit down.
Right. And if you have any sense about you, you see that I'm tall and I have to move the seat back.
Yeah.
You can move it back forward. You're grown. So
when I had my repair shop in Stillwater, I had a rule not to adjust the customer's seat ever unless it was absolutely undrivable. So way far back or way close. And sometimes you'd get in some and you'd be like, it's borderline. It's pretty uncomfortable.
mm-hmm.
Did you and your wife are a tremendous amount of height difference apart.
Mm-hmm.
I assume that's like you guys have like a preset in there for each other?
In her car, it has the two presets, one for her and one for me, which I love it.
You probably press
love
your button before you even try to sit down.
As I open the door, I press the button, so it'll all start doing
Yes.
It's
thing.
smart that it's on the door and like not the
It
center
is.
console.
It's perfect. Yeah, because she's 5'2" and I'm 6'4", so.
Yeah, sometimes I am just like, when it gets cold outside and I got to move the car in, or it's going to be raining or something, sometimes I can't wait. You hit that button and I got to get in the car right now. It's raining on me.
So you're like getting in the car while it's
and it smashes
transforming.
the side of your head and ugh.
Yeah.
So did you ever have to park a Lamborghini Countach ever? Do you recall?
I don't even
Probably
know what
so.
that is.
Yeah, I did it for several years, so I
You probably did.
a lot of exotic cars.
Lamborghini's instructions for driving the Countach, because it basically had no rear visibility.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to have to reverse in that car, you'd get in the car, put it in reverse. So the doors open up, Lamborghini doors. And then you'd put it in reverse, and then you would sit on the door sill with your head out the roof, like out where the door would open up, and basically drive looking over your shoulder outside the car. That's their instruction on how to,
Oh, wow.
with the door open.
Total Ace Ventura style.
Yeah.
I like it.
I mean, hopefully you're not going too fast in reverse, but
So, Bryan, as we close out here, if you wouldn't mind sharing why it is you like to be a part of this family, why it is that you work here, and then hopefully you'll stay as a part of this family until you retire and go open up your amazing gym.
sounds awesome.
Yeah. Again, like I've said at the Christmas party the last couple of years, I brag on Kevin and Aaron's generosity. It started with two guys with two desks in a office smaller than this area we're sitting in right now. And, their philosophy of hard work, do the customer right, take care of your employees. And I think they're taking care of the employees is the very top. Anyone that's worked here any amount of time knows, they pass on the generosity. They provide game tickets, food, snacks, drinks, things that we are so used to, How many games have you and Corey don't go to many games?
Get some sports off
But
YouTube.
Robert,
Well, I'm going at the end of the month. Thank you, Taurus.
you are going to a game.
Countless. I mean,
right. We have been to so many games, and our customers. You've given away lots of tickets to customers. And even in our we brag about our years that we grow every year. We've had a couple of years that were level, and I've even told Aaron and Kevin during that time, man, we don't need to buy the tickets. They're expensive. They both said, nope, that's in our budget. We're going to keep doing that because, it helps you guys with business, and it's a good perk for our employees, our employees' families. I know that sometimes we give them to an employee that takes their family that don't even know what Taurus is, So, that Kevin and Aaron have tried to keep that mindset from 2 guys to 64 people, excuse me. And the bigger we get, we do the best we can to keep that family mentality, as evident at the Christmas party this year. Man, I think everybody had a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we made up for last year.
Yeah, we did.
But, we also, us 3 know the perks we have if we need to take care of personal things, if we need to, leave early or whatever. We don't have someone trying to micromanage our time. Kevin and Aaron know that we do our jobs. They don't have to worry about that. And so there's a lot of those perks that I call them unpaid perks,
Yeah.
But really, they are paid. We're salaried, so we don't take advantage of it. They know that. We know that. But there's just so many of those things. You work for a salary. You're not going to work for free. But we've said. I think all 3 of us have said many times, I don't think I could be pulled away from here. I mean, it would take something astronomical.
I'm for sale.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, it'd be a big number, but
I'm not saying anything's possible, but I plan on, I'm the one of the oldest. I think one more is older than me.
Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Got your beat?
Yeah. But, I'm planning on staying till I don't think we'll ever retire.
Well, I don't have a retirement plan.
Will you just consult?
There you go. Yes.
Listen,
I will open a consulting company.
my plan is for us to get big enough to have a board of directors, and I just sit on the board.
Yeah.
In the movies, those guys don't do anything.
I know, right?
We go to
And
4
get
meetings
paid-
a year.
Most of them
And
don't
get-
even talk. It's awesome.
I just need to be on an earnings
Paper
call.
in front of them. You'll have to wear a tie.
Quarterly meeting, right?
That's a part
Look
of
at his face.
That's
He's like, not in my dream.
it's like, nah, never mind. I'll retire.
That's a retirement plan. We have 4 meetings a year. Right?
Oh, man, it'd be so good.
Quarterly meeting.
Right?
I don't know if I could let go. I have such control issues.
Hey, Bryan, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you very much.
We
Thank
want
you.
everyone out there to be able to see and hear what we have here, and it's a big part of it. It's not just about professional audiovisual. We also have a great set of teammates here and a family, and I think we've mentioned the word family a few times. So I'm glad you came on and had a little bit of fun with us. For myself, for Corey Church.
Hang on, I got one question for the audience.
Okay.
We're gonna have a whole series of these in the next 3 or 4 months. If there's anybody in particular you want to see, let us know.
Awesome.
In all the ways.
Some of
you
these
let
can
us
be
know.
very interesting. I can tell you that. All right, guys, y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.
Thank you very much.